the 1987 Formula One World Championship is the Austrian Grand Prix, run at the picturesque Osterreichring in the centre of the country near Zeltweg. The teams have come straight here from the Hungarian Grand Prix at Budapest the week before. Qualifying on Friday was dry, on Saturday it was wet. And so Friday's qualifying times had to make up the grid. And that meant that Nelson Piquet took pole position, with Nigel Mansell fractionally slower. Mansell suffering from a sore jaw following an operation on a wisdom tooth on the day before practice began. This is the cockpit of Satoru Nakajima's Lotus, going round on the final warm-up lap. On the second row of the grid, Gerhard Berger is third fastest in the Ferrari. He's an Austrian, and so the crowd are delighted to be able to cheer him on. Fourth and fifth fastest are Thierry Boutsen and Theo Fabi in the Benettons. Michele Alboretto's Ferrari is sixth fastest. Seventh, Ayrton Senna's Lotus. There it is in the picture, with eighth, Riccardo Patrese's Brabham. Ninth, Alain Prost's McLaren. 10th, the Brabham of Andrea de Cesaris. 11th and 12th, the Arrows Megatrons of Derek Warwick and Eddie Cheever. It's a 26-car field as usual, a 52-lap race. But the narrow starting lane of the Austrian circuit proved to play a large part in today's proceedings. This is the first start. At the green light, the field got away cleanly, with Piquet leading Mansell, Berger and Boutsen. But the Zach speed of the Englishman Martin Brundle slewed sideways, bounced off the barriers, and behind him several cars took avoiding action. The two Tyrrells tangled together, driven by Philip Streff and Jonathan Palmer. Both were out of the race, as were the Minardi of Adrian Campos and the two Ligiers of Arnoux and Ghinzani. In this replay you can see Brundle slew to the left-hand side of the road and into the barrier, and Campos and Arnoux behind him taking avoiding action. Then the two Tyrrells tangle together. Nelson Piquet was leading from Theo Fabi, the Italian in the Benetton, but out came the flags. Nigel Mansell was lying third at that point. The race had to be stopped while the track was cleared. So to the second restart. But Nigel Mansell's clutch was giving problems, and when the flag fell from the second position on the grid, he was slow away. Once more, Piquet went into the lead. But as Mansell faltered, the other cars had to find a route past him. Riccardo Patrese's Brabham jinked to the right, and behind him, several cars collided. In the end, 10 cars were involved in the pile-up. And of course, once again, the race had to be stopped. That's Philip Streff climbing out of his Tyrrell, Philippe Alliot climbing out of his Lola. The turquoise car is the March of Ivan Capelli, and Pascal Fabre's AGS is parked almost on top of them. None of these drivers were hurt. This is the sight from Nakajima's cockpit. Look on the right and you just see the Brabham flick into the air. That's Riccardo Patrese's car. And again, another replay. Mansell is slow away and is blocking the road. The front runners managed to get round him. But here comes the Brabham of Patrese, tries to go left, then goes right. And behind, Cheever, Brundle, Johansson, Caffey, Ghinzani, Streff, Alliot, Capelli and Fabre are all involved. Right at the back, Jonathan Palmer has seen it all start, has been very slow away and stays out of trouble. So finally to the third start, and this time, fortunately, all is well. Yet again, Nelson Piquet takes the lead. Yet again, Mansell is a little slow away. And this time Ayrton Senna is left on the grid in the Lotus. Meanwhile, Alain Prost and Michele Alboreto, with various technical difficulties, have had to start from the pit lane after the start of everybody else has gone. Piquet leads from Boutsen, Berger and Mansell, who is fourth after a careful start. Nelson Piquet strives to set up a lead, but the Benetton of Thierry Boutsen is tremendously quick and is pushing him very, very hard indeed. Piquet can't shake Boutsen off. Berger is third, Mansell fourth, Fabi fifth. Then the Brabham of Patrese is sixth, with Derek Warwick seventh and Andrea de Cesaris eighth. Further back, already Alain Prost, there he is, Ayrton Senna in the yellow Lotus and Michele Alboreto are carving their way through the traffic after their delayed start. At the front, the leading group makes a break. Piquet from Boutsen, Berger, Mansell, Fabi, Patrese, Warwick, de Cesaris and Stefan Johansson. But Gerhard Berger is an early retirement, much to the dismay of the Austrian crowd. Thierry Boutsen, having run a splendid second for a long time, has to stop because his gear linkage has come loose, and this loses him almost a complete lap, although when he rejoins he's going as fast as ever. But Nigel Mansell has now caught up with teammate Nelson Piquet and takes the lead in a wonderful manoeuvre as they're lapping back markers. He gets up alongside now and goes over the brow of the hill and forces past, chopping in front of Piquet to take the lead as they come up to lap the Japanese Satoru Nakajima in his Lotus. This is Nakajima's view of it all happening. Piquet comes in for his routine tyre stop, which he completes without losing second place. Mansell makes his pit stop shortly afterwards for fresh rubber, but he is able to do so without losing his lead. And Mansell now is able to dominate the race, even though the clutch in the number 5 Williams Honda is still giving problems. This is Mansell's final lap. After the bad luck that he's had recently in the German and Hungarian Grand Prix, this win in his 100th Grand Prix start and on the 7th anniversary of his first ever Grand Prix here in Austria in 1980, this victory comes as a great relief to him. Nelson Piquet finishes a distant second, and everybody else is at least one lap down. The Benettons of Théo Fabi and Thierry Boutsen finish in an excellent third and fourth places. Ayrton Senna, having made a second pit stop to replace a damaged nose cone, is fifth, and Alain Prost, having got up to third place at one stage, falls back with a misfiring car to finish sixth for McLaren. Nigel Mansell has the further consolation of a fastest lap, which is a new lap record on this extremely fast Austrian Grand Prix circuit. Mansell, Piquet and Fabi spray the Austrian crowd with champagne. In the World Championship, Piquet's second place has further consolidated his lead. He now has 11 points advantage over Ayrton Senna and 15 over Nigel Mansell, with Alain Prost still fourth with 31. In the Constructors' Championship, Williams Honda now have a 43-point lead, but McLaren are only 1 point ahead of Lotus.